Good afternoon, friends. Welcome to TGR Exotics here in Spring, Texas for our Live on the Wildside segment with amazing snakes. I'm Nick Bockelman, and today I am joined by my good friend and co-worker, Brian Cuffrin. Brian is the manager of the reptile department here at TGR Exotics. And what do we have here today, Brian?
Right now I'm holding, this is Hordor. He's a 100 flower snake. He is a colubrid, and this is a really interesting species of snake that tends to get about 8 feet long. And what's really kind of unique about these guys is the males actually get significantly longer than the females, which most of the time it's the other way around. Now you can notice his eyes are a little bit blue. That means he's in shedding process right now. And once he completely sheds, he's usually a very vibrant green with a beautiful red on the tail. Why I like these guys so much is they're kind of like all the colubrids, kind of all in one. They've got the body length to get to 8 feet. They're a bit girthy, and they have all these beautiful markings that most of the rat snakes and the other colubrids have. And they have this really unique kind of boxy head, if you can take a look at that. And you can tell that it's in blue because it has the bluish kind of milky coloration in the eyes, and that's due snakes technically produce what's called an opaque, which is kind of like a natural moisturizer between the different layers of skin. So when it actually sheds, it produces that, it has that opaque, so it's able to shed the skin off easily and all in one piece. So once again, this is Hordor. This is the 100 flower rat snake, and these guys come from Vietnam and also southern China. Any questions? Well, at this time, I wanted to give a shout out to Lindsay and Carly for their donation the other day. We really appreciate that. And also Min for your boxes of produce that you graciously brought by for our animals. We really do appreciate that, and especially the time that we're going through right now. We want to thank you all very much. Once again, Lindsay and Carly, and also Min for your produce. Thank you very much. So the 100 flower rat snake, they typically get about 8 feet long, and your females will get slightly smaller than that. They do typically get anywhere from like 5 to 6 feet, but the males in this species tend to get 8 feet long. And these guys typically they'll live in captivity 20 plus years, easy. And these guys eat like every other week. They prefer small rats. We do frozen thawed for all our animals here, and they do prefer to actually eat every other week. And he's about 4 years old. To Sarah out there, your question, how can I get one? That's a fantastic question because I'm looking for some too. This guy came from a friend of ours, but if you're looking for these animals, you can go on to different websites they have. Fauna Classified's a great website that you can check out, and you can find probably one of these or many other snakes or lizards or frogs or really, any kind of reptile or amphibian. Also, kingsnake.com is another good website you can go to, and also Morph Market. And then if you go into your regular expos that you have, you can meet different people there that might not have them there, but they might be able to get you in a general direction on where you can find them and maybe find a breeder. And if you do, let us know because we would love to get some more. Thank you, Sarah.
All right, guys. So right here I have Mantis. Mantis is a male reticulated python. He's around 4 years old, weighing about 25 pounds. Now the reticulated python, the females, are the longest snakes in the world, okay? The females can attain lengths of over 25 feet and weigh over 250 pounds. Now the males here usually cap out around the 10 to 12 foot range. This is one of our favorite snakes here at TGR Exotics, Mantis. You can see he's got that beautiful iridescence on his scales. Absolutely awesome. And I see he's getting around here. So these snakes right here are constrictors. And what that means is whenever they go for their prey, these are ambush predators, whenever an animal comes close and they're able to snag it, they wrap around the prey item and they squeeze. And they squeeze tighter and tighter the more the heart beats. And so they squeeze so tight that eventually the heart stops beating, all blood circulation ceases throughout the body, the animal goes into cardiac arrest and is dead. This is much faster than if they were to squeeze and asphyxiate the animal. Now, if we were to look closely at his face, he has a really unique adaptation. So it might be hard for y'all to see, but he has these tiny little holes where his lips are. Those are heat-sensitive pits. Now, what these animals hunt in the wild is mostly warm-blooded prey items. So they will eat birds and mammals, pigs, deer, ducks, things like that. And so these heat-sensitive pits allow them to pick up on the heat that emanates from those warm-blooded animals' bodies, okay? They also smell with their tongue, as all snakes do. And so their tongue is one of the better tools in their arsenal for finding food. Now, these guys are found in Southeast Asia. So Thailand, Indonesia, Borneo, Burma, the Philippines, Sulawesi, those are the kind of places you're gonna find these awesome snakes here. And if you guys have any questions or anything, please feel free to ask about Mantis here at TGR Exotics. This awesome male reticulated python here. Absolutely beautiful. Now these guys do have some predators in the wild. Here we go. You want to go on the ground, good sir. Watch him do his thing. Well, he'll do what he wants to do. Big snake like this. I guess these guys in the wild, the adults, the only thing they have to worry about as far as natural predators would be crocodiles. It's the only thing that gets big enough to take on an adult reticulated python. But when they're young, they have to watch out for hawks, monitor lizards, and even cobras. In fact, the king cobra loves to eat young reticulated pythons. So that is one thing they have to watch out for. And these guys have quite a few teeth, over 200 teeth. An interesting thing is the top jaw actually has 2 rows of teeth. And so whenever they snag a prey item, this allows them to hold on, get a really good grip, and that way the animal's not getting away, and all the teeth are curving back. So if the animal does try to make an escape, it's not going to be very effective. Oh yeah. And if y'all hear him, he's just breathing right there. He's all good. He's a very calm snake. If you see that beautiful iridescence, let's see, looks like we have a question coming in. Oh yeah, look at this guy. One thing you'll notice, snakes do not blink, okay, so they do not have eyelids. They have a protective scale that goes over the eye called the brill. Well, thank you for watching, Hannah. Do you have to have a special permit to own reticulated pythons? Yes, you would have to go to somewhere like Academy, a sporting goods store, and you go and ask them for their miscellaneous permits. It's called the Controlled Exotic Snake Permit. And you cannot have these guys within the Houston city limits. That is not legal, so don't try it. It's not a really easy snake to hide, as big as they are. It's not something you want to do. Yeah, look at this guy. He's got a really awesome snake bodysuit right here. This is just great. Look at this guy. And Mantis, again, just that beautiful iridescence right there. Mantis right here is around 4 years old. Thank you for watching, Jamie. And these snakes can live up to 25 years. This guy's still young. And the males are smaller than the females. Males usually get the 10 to 12 foot range, and females can get over 15 feet, with exceptional individuals getting over 25 feet in length. And over here, if you guys would like, we got our next snake coming up. We have Brian. Brian, what have you got right here?
Well, guys, I've got one of the most amazing snakes, probably the most amazing snake there is on the planet. We have roughly about 3,000 species, rounding upwards, of different ophidians on the planet, but this one right here is often referred to as the holy grail of all snakes. This is the Boelen's python, Somalia boeleni. And these guys, they're from Papua New Guinea, and they come from a very high altitude. They're known as a montane species, so they live up in the mountains where it's typically cooler most of the time. And what they've evolved to have over the years is a ton of black on them, and if you notice, it has a ton of iridescence to it. It is rather cool where they come from, but it does receive a lot of sunlight. So having this pattern and having a lot of the black, you have a lot of surface to absorb the much needed heat. These guys are typically diurnal, they're active during the day. And these guys, Jamie, thank you, and these guys typically get 9 feet. This is a very confident snake. They are not shy, they are not skittish whatsoever. You can tell they have a very healthy build to them. And these guys usually hang out during the day and bask, and at night they retreat to burrows underneath the tree canopies. And what's really unique about these guys is they're actually territorial, and they will mark their burrows with a small portion of fecal material that lets other Boelens know that there is someone occupying this space and to move along and find another burrow. Now during breeding season, this also helps them as well to find the males. It helps them to find the females with that spotting, if you will. But what's really unique about it is they actually do the same thing in captivity. They will mark their hides that we have for them. And this is left for most part until we do a really rather big cleanup for them, as we feel that it is, left for security, and that gives them, a better secure spot that they could recognize on their own. And we want these guys to be as happy as possible. These guys get fed, Courtney, every 2 weeks. We give them a medium to large rat every 2 weeks. And we want to give them a little bit of space between each one. That way they can digest it and absorb, the humid enclosure that we have for them. And we like to soak them a few times a week. Really 1 to 2 times a week is really beneficial for these guys to sit in a little bit of water, especially if they're going to be shedding anytime in the recent coming days. And this is just one of the most remarkable species of snake that we have on the planet. I mean, out of all the venomous stuff that we have, all the colubrids, the pythons, nothing really comes close to the Boelen's python. And if you guys have never heard of this snake, or if you guys have heard of it and do know about it, I do recommend that you try to find as much information out there as possible on these guys. They're super, super intelligent. You can tell that they have some degree of intelligence to them by the look in their eye. They're very curious with their surroundings. Every time that we go in to work with them, they actually come out to us. It's not the other way around. So that is a sure sign of health, that if you do have a Boelen's python, that is a 1 degree of health that you can count for. If they're coming out to say hello to you and see what's going on, it is a great sign of health. Once again, this is a Boelen's python, and we wanted to let you know, tomorrow we'll be videotaping Nora, or Calico, or Caracal. Please go to our website at tgerexotics.com, and you can read more about that and see great ways to help. And again, we wanted to thank everyone for your donations in the last few days. It was greatly appreciated. So again, this is a Boelen's python. This is Somalia boeleni.